Hi, it's Joy, and today we're going to be watching Alphas Season 2, Episode 9, The Devil Will Drag You Under, and Saturn Paris is indeed the devil of this show, and he has dragged Danny under. I am scared but also excited to see where this show goes next. Thank you so much, Jessie, for sponsoring, and let's go. Ominous airport meetings.
You need to initial boxes that are highlighted and...
I thought we'd do this.
And yes, sign the...
Go undercover, cozy up to Stanton Parish, and figure out what he's planning.
It's what you were doing the other way round.
Stanton Parish is a sociopath, you know, he's...
I know.
Does she?
He trusts me.
Or is the minute she gets back to him, is she going to tell him everything? Like, how has she so quickly gone from believing in Parish to this?
Keeping Danny safe, that was your first priority, huh?
She was spying.
You put your own daughter's head on the block, and I'm out of order?
I think there's a lot of underlying issues and resentment here that goes back fairly far into the past in terms of Hicks and Dr. Rosen. But also, like, I know you love her and you've just had that really emotional weekend with her, but, like, she was spying on you.
You chose to risk her life. You're using her.
She's an adult.
Just like you use everyone. Get the hell out of my way.
Trouble is, I do think that Dr. Rosen does have a past with using alphas. You know, if you think about the way he got Cameron to join this team, it was, I'll be ashamed if you never saw your son again because you went to prison for that murder we all know wasn't your fault. Like, you know, see you on Monday was how he recruited him. There was no like, oh, the government is pulling this string and I don't really want to, but I have to. It was like, see you on Monday because otherwise you're going to prison. You know, he has a past with using alphas in various different ways. You know, he's got Nina to push somebody when she was still feeling vulnerable with her pushing because it's what the mission needs. Cameron isn't totally wrong, but Cameron is wrong with the level of aggression, with kind of assuming that there is no way Dr. Rosen could actually care about Danny, and also forgetting that Danny is an adult, and yes, she's a fairly vulnerable adult because of her past, but she's an adult who has been making choices that she's now having to deal with the consequences of. You know, they're both right and they're both wrong. Yes. Jesus! Okay. If he's just joined them, my immediate theory is that it's one of those plots whereby he and Dr. Rosen staged that big row because he's getting in on the inside so he can try and, A, he'll be on the inside, B, he can potentially try and get to Danny. I don't think Cameron would just happily join a plot that would just randomly murder a security guard. That is not Cameron. I don't care how angry he would get to. But I do think he would get in on the inside as part of a bigger plan with Dr. Rosen, and the realistic reaction of the team members would all be part of it. That's why we keep secrets from things. That is my current theory. Alternative theory is that Cameron has left the team and he is furious with Dr. Rosen, as furious as he seemed, because there is a lot of genuine stuff there, just I don't think quite to that level anyway, and he is not ideologically aligning with this, but he's doing this to try and get to Danny, and so he's kind of risking his own morals to try and find Danny. I feel like those are the two things. The idea that Cameron would be like, woo, let's go murder people, I don't care, is not Cameron.
What the hell are you doing? Whatever it takes.
Oh goodness. I mean, this guy wanted these murders, right? Because he could have run. Guys, he's just done something wrong. Yep. This doesn't look good, but I have watched too much TV. Basically, if they want me to believe Cameron is genuinely ideologically aligning with this, I will think it's bad writing. But if it's the other kind, it's good writing. Because I can see how he might get pushed away from Dr. Rosen and his way of thinking of it, because I have often been, like, extremely frustrated with Dr. Rosen's actions and the way he thinks about things, even as much as I try and get into his head and understand it, but I won't believe it if they want me to believe Cameron is cool with it.
Trust him. That's my theory.
Okay, they're with me, thank you, I'm glad.
Careful with those. I feel like the 4th of July, but with dead...
I mean, these are the same people that made him murder. He's never gonna just merrily join them.
Look, I got Parrish's little toys. Now tell him to sit down with me. Face to face.
Ooh, he's trying to earn his way into the trust. Oh, fuck. What's their initiation like? Oh dear, they got like a lie detector alpha. She was in Battlestar Galactica, right?
When I touch someone, it rips open their mind.
That's a lovely way of putting it.
Sound very pleasant.
Great way to show loyalty, to treat people like this, hostilely. Like, I get maybe, like, if you're part of this, like, crazy cult movement, which they are, that what she's doing, I kind of understand, I suppose, like, you know, finding a complete trust in people, trying to get to the root of their motives or whatever. You need to be careful, but you don't have to be quite as, like, clench your jaw about it. God, this must be a freaking regular occurrence here. Enough to be believable.
Parrish is the big bad, right?
You okay?
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
The way you feel about Danny.
Okay,
Not
well,
everyone gets it.
let's just buy that. That's enough of a reason for him to be here.
Do you want this? Do you want my pudding? I have an extra one. It's okay.
He's definitely growing, and like, I think having this independence and thinking on his own is helping him reach through his own growth a lot more. But maybe also his #AnnaLive stuff.
You here because of a slogan?
Can I see her?
See, potentially I would buy that he might want to join a movement that was promoting the welfare of alphas and trying to make the world better for them, especially if he thinks there is even an outside chance his son could have an alpha ability. What I don't think is he'd be cool with killing people.
I would never want to cause her any pain. But as you just pointed out, it's seemingly inevitable. Welcome aboard, Mr. Hicks.
Pain is never inevitable. You should always try and find every other way around it before causing another person pain. Even then, maybe don't do it.
You shouldn't have to carry that alone.
Yes, I should.
I do like the Rosen that's sort of owning his part in things.
Don't hurt him.
I don't want to hurt anyone, Danielle.
You're pretty cool with hurting people. It's hard because she was just a vulnerable young woman when Stanton grabbed her and started brainwashing her. And she does need to continue to make the right choices here.
I expected you to understand.
What is it you want to do? Murder humans?
Something magnificent.
A population outstrips the planet's capacity to provide.
Sacrifices.
Okay, Thanos.
Culling the herd.
Yeah, but there aren't enough alphas if you kill all the humans, right?
Sacrifices.
Which would you choose?
See, he's someone that has lived for so long that he's grown numb to watching people die around him.
Take her below.
That's not how someone that cares about someone acts. You know, you might say, look, I'm so... I don't know, you just be like, I'm really, really sorry. Like, I have to be sure this mission is too important to me. I love you. I don't want to cause you pain. Not like, take her below. Yeah. Or is Cameron going to follow her? Because he knows she'll lead him to Danny, but don't play your hand too quickly. Or do. I don't know. No one will see you there. Well, congratulations. She won't notice that you're riding behind her.
We figured it out.
You helped him escape, didn't you?
Ooh.
What the hell are you doing?
Let him go.
I had him. Then he's gone. I couldn't figure out how.
I thought they were all affected by the bomb at first.
I figured it all.
You helped Parrish get his hands on those bombs so he could kill thousands of people.
Is she in on it?
So shut up! Please get out the way. I'm gonna arrest her this
Before
time.
you do anything, we need to talk.
Yeah, I think you do. Why were you keeping... Like, once you kind of had the big moment of them acting all, it's him, shock, horror, you could have told everyone. And if that wasn't the plan, then tell me, please.
She made me doubt. We can't have that.
Doubt herself or doubt the validity of your mission? God, if Parrish ever doubts her, she's dead because there's no one to verify if she's trustworthy or not.
Please. Please.
God, he's even suppressing the scream as much as he can.
I don't want to talk to him.
We figured out a way to save her. But we need your help.
Did she push him?
And the other inhibitors. So be careful.
Sam, you sure you want to do this?
Ready?
I love this.
Find it.
I love this so much because in a way as well, it's him trusting to let Nina push him, which after everything that happened.
I'll give you 10 minutes.
Come on.
How's she going to explain that? Don't they need to tie her up or something? I mean, I believe that she could feel wanting as close as she's got to feeling.
Done, okay? Your father should have never sent you back to.
Hello. Oh, Danny.
He loves her so much.
Last straight in Manhattan. 1 million people could die.
Including any alphas that happen to live there. You alpha supremacist bitch. Why do I have a horrific feeling Danny's gonna die? Or Cameron, but... He has the same ability as Bill, really? Did he say bad ninja? Come on, team. Touch his hand! Touch his hand! Jesus Christ. What did she say? What did she say?
Put it down, baby.
Does he want her to kill? Please say whatever Nina did to protect his mind was enough.
Look at me, look at me.
What's up?
Well, hurry up, please! Cameron is about to shoot himself in the head! Come on, Nina. Oh, and then she gets to save him by pushing.
Forget it. You don't want to hurt yourself. Put that down.
I love this. I genuinely like the culmination of like where they. I don't even care whether they're romantic or not, but the fact that like they broke up, they ended there. He's been so distant from Nina, whose name is the one name in the show I cannot remember, because she pushed him against his will, and now in this episode, how much trust he had, and then how she saved him with pushing him. I really love the turnaround. Oh God. Oh, I'm so stressed Danny's gonna die. I definitely feel like Cameron's a main character.
Danny?
We've been over this.
Like Danny's arc has arced, if that makes sense. I'm stressed. This episode is intense. One of the best ones yet. Like just when this show is freaking finding its stride, fully finding its stride, they cancel it. Ridiculous.
Where's the truck headed? Where's the
I
truck?
just love their little like family car they drive. Jesus. Don't be a failing ability time, please. Jesus Christ! Oh no, no, run, hide.
There, Bill. Danny and Hicks.
What? What are you talking about?
Oh God.
They're right there. They're in the target.
Fuck, get to the right spot, it's gonna explode.
The crash site is the target.
Gary, what if we could disarm it? You know, you could talk us through it. Find some kind
Shit,
of
shit,
database or
shit.
something.
No, if I can just reroute the power.
That might actually stop the shooting.
Gary, how long will that take?
Trust me.
Oh, fuck, I'm stressed.
I got this.
I just do not have good feelings. I have bad feelings.
Hello, Stan.
She gave them more than 10 minutes. He'll
You really
put
care about me.
he'll put the mission
If I
first.
ever meant anything
And then it's gonna become an absolute everyone all out to get Parrish.
Danny, you're not supposed to be there.
just because you believed something for a long time doesn't make it true.
It's true, that is true. Parrish. He's gonna kill his doubt altogether. Oh fucking hell.
I am so
Fuck! Run. Run, run, run.
You will always be remembered.
Run!
Lorenzo, we won. Lorenzo.
What cost? Though, I mean, a worthwhile cost because you save millions of people, but...
Danny? Danny, it's Daddy. It's
Oh my
Daddy.
God.
Danny?
Internal bleeding.
Look. love you. I love you so very much.
No parent should have to do this. I knew this episode would end like this.
Nina! Nina!
Push her to not die.
Not die.
Doesn't work that way. What is she sending her? I knew this would happen. This was the first freaking episode I even probably liked her. No parent should have to hold their dead child's arms. Does it get my screen froze then? Now, I am someone who is big on hating on shows for needlessly killing characters, for killing off people just for shock value or whatever. This is one of the rare occasions where I almost feel like it was justified. Now, I want to point out that I do not think she needed to die. I think she could have been injured and had to go into hiding, and the same plotline could have worked. But I almost can see that this was a character who hadn't been in it enough for you to be like bawling your eyes out. I mean, don't get me wrong, if they had immediately transitioned into like more crying and funerals, I would be sobbing. This is one of those rare occasions where I almost feel like it's a death that the plot needed or that made sense within the show, and not just a boom, stray bullet, lol type death. I do want to say that I feel like a lot of the acting in this episode was superb. Especially, I mean, that is not to say that any actor on the show is a bad actor. They aren't. Just some of the episodes don't necessarily have the demand for the most excelling acting out. Like with most shows, on an average episode, you just need to do a good job. I feel like a lot of them did like an excellent job in various scenes in this episode. This would be the episode that would take this show into being one that, not just a show I really enjoy, but a show that I am invested in and love. And it's so sad to think that it happened so far towards the end of season 2. Now there have been episodes like that, like my enjoyment and love of this show has been like upping. You know, I feel like the modern world with our TV, there is so much television on offer, there are so many different shows being made and pilots and so many different places you can watch, that really shows do not get given much of a chance. If they don't instantly get the amazing stellar views that the channel wants, they're gone. Now, I think every single channel, every single creator of television shows should be obligated that if you cancel a show, they get an hour-and-a-half movie to wrap it up. And I don't give a shit if that hour-and-a-half movie has to cover 6 seasons worth of plot and it's very rushed, or if you kind of have to just, okay, yeah, we'll all take that leap that would connect us, sure, if it just wraps it up and doesn't leave you on a cliffhanger. I'm dreading the cliffhanger of this show because, you know, as it's gone on and on, I'm falling more and more and more for this show. And I truly think that, like, if people had stuck out this show to this kind of episode, this is when it clicked. There was, I can't remember what it was now, but there definitely was an episode in season 1 where I remember being like, the show has clicked now. And then when season 2 started, I was like, wow, this show has like fully found its feet. And now we're like here where I'm like, this show has gone up another level. That is both with the performances, with the execution of the storyline. Because, you know, you're happy at the beginning, being like, you know, I don't buy it. I think Cameron's working with Rosen. But the show didn't really try and keep that from you. And that's what I really appreciate. Because, and it can be done well, but often they try and keep the audiences in that same sense of, I can't believe that character we know would do this. But they didn't. They had enough little things where you would be like, yeah, this is this, until they revealed it. And it was all done in one episode. I think it was handled really well. I feel like maybe my one criticism, and even then it's not really a criticism, it is just the nature of being a 13, 12 episode season of a show, you do not have the time, is that I feel almost like Danny's character arc towards the end there got a little rushed. Now that isn't to say I fully buy into it, and I don't think it was rushed in a lot of ways. What I think is a lot of her misgivings about Parrish and whether she would want to be with her father we kind of didn't see, and they happen off screen. Now, I genuinely, there is a part of me that is like, was that episode 10 and I somehow missed one? And you're going to be furious with me on Patreon, and if that's the case, I'm very sorry. But you know, the last, like up until the last episode, I would have said that she was fully loyal to Parrish. She just didn't particularly like him killing people. Now, I don't think that's necessarily not the case in this one, but we had at the beginning of the episode her willingly going in to go and be undercover with Parrish, and I presume Rosen talking to her about, like, I mean, obviously we missed there were a lot of time jumps in this episode, them talking it through and pointing out that just because he has a good goal, just because he's kind to you, and just because ultimately he wants to make the world a better place, doesn't mean it's okay for him to kill loads of people. And I don't think Dani has ever been totally on board with that side of things. So I kind of feel like I would have connected to her character more if we'd been able to follow her arc a little bit more. Whereas I feel like her arc was in lots of little snatches, and I was like, I believe she cares about Cameron, I believe she cares about her father, I also don't know where she stands. This episode, even just the second half of this episode, did a phenomenal job of making me feel extraordinarily attached to her, even as I was like, she's going to die this episode. Like, the Grim Reaper was just lurking behind her with his little scythe. Jesus. If I think about it too much, I will cry. If they focus on it too much in the next episodes, I would definitely cry. God, if I wasn't adjusting to new antidepressants still, or maybe I don't even know, maybe I would be crying. Who knows? But, Jesus. So, Dani. She is a character that breaks your heart, you know. I have a lot of issues with Dr. Rosen, and I often have. I do believe he is a man who is trying to do the right thing. I do believe he is someone that would like to think he has always done the right thing. And I do appreciate that he does own up to his mistakes when they're pointed out to him. But I do think he has a little bit of that ego, a little bit of that, like, I always know what's right. Which makes him a realistic character, let's face it. But we know he mucked up with Dani. We know he was not a good father. In a lot of ways. Obviously there were some ways where he was a good father, but in a lot of ways that left her very scarred. He messed up, and he would do anything to undo that. So then when Parrish found her, she was this young alpha who was like on the streets doing unspeakable things to get by, addicted to drugs, entirely vulnerable, and to a sociopathic mind like Parrish's, easy pickings. So he was able to pick her up and mould her into who he wanted to be. And as soon as she started to think for herself, he was done with her. But what I'm proud of with her is that she never truly lost herself to Parrish. Yes, for a long time I think she truly 100% believed with his ideology, but when Dr. Rosen came back into her life, her father was back in her life, and he genuinely was sorry, and his actions were keeping up with his words, she let him back in, and she believed him. You know, I was worried that she was going to be like, fuck my father, I hate him. Oh, Daddy, hi. But she wasn't. She truly was letting him in and letting them learn and heal from their past. She wasn't just dating Cameron to use him like I feared. She was truly falling for him, and truly was able to help him have a beautiful connection with his son, and all of those things were from a genuine place. She genuinely wanted a world in which people like her father and Cameron could be on the same side as Parrish. And I think that even without Dr. Rosen's input, once the casualties started rising, she wouldn't have been merrily going along with it, which makes me respect her a lot as a character. She's not the character I feared she would be. Someone, despite everything she's been through, despite how vulnerable she was when Parrish found her, she was able to stick to who she truly was. And yeah, she wavered a little bit at times, because everyone does, but she knew what she wanted to do. I have a lot of respect for her in that moment. I knew she wasn't, this episode, I'll get to that in a minute, I really did not think she was going to survive it as it went on. The fact that she was so insistent that Cameron just wanted to get her out, get to safety. You know, her ability isn't one that is inherently good for like fighting. Yes, if she can get enough skin on skin contact, it is good for fighting, but then all it takes is for somebody to shove her, punch her, shoot her, touch her with his acid hands, and suddenly like the shoe's on the other foot. But I admire her for her bravery, and she knew there was a good chance Parrish would blow it up. Yes, she'd want to believe that his words were true, that when he said he viewed her as family, it would be enough to stop him, and it was enough to delay him, and that delay saved thousands, if not millions, of lives, because Gary was able to cut off the supply to the electrics. Gary, or whatever, I don't understand science. Gary was able to do his thing, and she saved so many lives, her last act. And it kills me that she doesn't know that, like, in her last moments, they weren't on comms with Gary. Of course they weren't. Like the explosion and everything. No one, you did it. You saved millions of lives, you know. She had her people that she loved around her. She died. She had people that she didn't even know that well desperately sobbing and trying to save her. So that was a lot. But the fact that she risked everything and she stood up to him, and how scary that is as well, to stand up to someone that has been this important figure in your life. I'm so proud of her in that moment. And I love Cameron for supporting her. I love Cameron for not being like, no, I strong man, you woman, you stay safe. Now, yes, would she be alive right now? Yes. Would a million people be dead? Also, yes. She was able to she knew how to use her connection to make up for maybe some of the crimes that she's let slide with Parrish while she's been there, and to truly make up for any past mistakes she's made. She died a hero, and it is utterly soul destroying to think for Dr. Rosa when he just got her back. And you know, he didn't even know he'd lost her to Paris, but he was just getting her back from that as well. And she was just truly beginning to find herself for the first time, thinking for herself, doing what she believed was right. And she should have had a truly wonderful future. Now, I would like to believe the next episode will open with her entering witness protection because Nina's pushing work. So Nina is now going to be able to say to every single person on this show, don't die. And then they'll be like, a bullet to the heart, but I can't die. I don't think it works that way. Other thing, Gary was still excellent in this episode, as always. Gary and Bill's relationship, their friendship was everything. Cameron and Nina. Now that was honestly, when I started to see things that were significant for the growth of their relationship into a potential endgame scenario, that was when I was like, fuck, Danny's clock is ticking. And I don't even know if that makes sense. I don't imagine they're going to do anything this season. I imagine that would have been something that they were planning in like the end game. But as soon as I started to see little signs that maybe made my brain think this is sowing the seeds, ploughing the fields, sowing the seeds, setting the landscape for a future Nina and Cameron thing, that I was like, he is deeply in love with this person who's in imminent danger right now. The time's up. But from a standpoint of them, the fact that he was able to work with Dr. Rose, and I thought the level of his anger didn't make sense. Like, the seeds are there, but it wouldn't have been that confrontation. But it was necessary to make people buy it so that passers-by would have heard the argument and reported it. It was in his mind. But I absolutely adore that it shows you how much he cares about Danny, how much faith he does have in Nina, despite everything, and in Dr. Rosen, that he was willing to let Nina push him, given that that was what ended their relationship. And how affected that would be to think that someone you cared about had just pushed you and like altered your brain. I absolutely loved that moment when you saw them coming to him and then coming up with this plan that would protect him from any kind of mind invasiveness. Similarly, I absolutely loved the fact that when he'd been ear pushed to kill himself, Nina was able to use her pushing ability to save his life. You know, she once caused him immense harm by pushing him. We still don't know the details of that, but she once did something that broke his trust in her, and yet she was able to save him. And again, I don't know if that is just my inner shipping heart that I get hurt. I don't actually ship them all that much, but there was the points in my brain that I was like, tick, 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 this is a beautiful continuation. Oh fuck, he's in a committed and loving relationship. She's dead. I hoped I was wrong. I hoped it would just be, oh, for her own safety, she has to leave and she's going to go off and make a bright life or whatever, and she and Cameron will part on beautiful terms, but yes. For Nina, I think being able to use her ability in positive ways, both in helping to protect, I mean, they saved a lot of lives, even if ultimately it didn't save Danny, but it gave Danny her agency, it let her make decisions for herself. And that moment when she realised he was going to explode and she told them to run, and Cameron and Dr. Rosen were running straight for her. The utter desperate, like Dr. Rosen as a character, I swing with, like, there are episodes where I'm like, I don't like you for part of them, and then on the whole I do like him. He just frustrates me sometimes. But just seeing him realise that his little girl was going to die and begging her not to. The fact that, you know, Cameron being there so desolate, then begging Nina pushing her to not die. It's not how it works, but you just think, God, if this ability is good for anything, just don't die. Honestly, that just got me. And then the fact that did Danny pass on like a final message? Like, she wasn't really able to speak, to say what she wanted to say, but she passed on some kind of final message to Nina. That whole end scene was phenomenal. It really ups the stakes for the show, for the characters. Dr. Rosen is going to be even more of a one-track mind loose cannon at the moment. Cameron too, I don't know. And it shows you just how far Parrish is willing to go. He is willing to blow up somebody that he claims to care for as family. I truly do believe that he maybe didn't necessarily, I mean, he definitely had sociopathic tendencies back in the day, but I think living for an extended period of time, losing everyone you ever care about, does make you more willing to kill, or you view other lives as fleeting. So yes, okay, Danny only got to live for 25 years, I have no idea how old she was, 27 years, and then dead. But you know, she'd have been dead soon anyway for him. I think he views mortality differently, especially the mortality of others. I don't think Parrish would be willing to stand in the bomb radius himself. I assume that could kill him. Do something that would permanently kill him himself for his cause. And, you know, having the goal of saving lives doesn't matter if you kill lives in the process. This episode was phenomenal. It was heartbreaking. It elevated the show all over again, and I don't want to keep thinking about that final scene because thank God the show ended, because I did not want to cry today. So thank you so much, Jessie, for sponsoring this show, and thank you for watching.